Hello and warm welcome to everyone to this special LinkedIn Live session, which is a part of 10 Lighten, our celebration for 10 incredible years of ICF Delhi NCR chapter. So, are you all excited? Just drop in a comment box so that I know that you're there and excited for our session. So I'm Debishi Chakravarti, the president of ICF Delhi NCR. But most importantly, I'm the custodian of our coaching community's dreams. And on behalf of the 10 Lighten team, I warmly welcome you today. So this week, it's just not counting years. We've completed 10 years as a charter chapter, but today is a special day where we are honoring the stories and the honoring the stories of coaches, clients, champions, change makers through this short podcast who have made coaching a lived practice across boardrooms, classrooms, and the entire organizations. And today's story is just not a story, it's a master class in leadership seen through the lens of coaching. Our featured speaker, Mr. Prem. Welcome, Mr. Prem. He has not only shaped the HR strategy across India, but also championed coaching as a way to lead, especially in a world where the workforce is young, tech savvy, and hungry for purpose. A big round of applause for Mr. Prem. Please, drop in a sign if you are excited to hear from him one more time. And as a president of Group HR at JK Organization and honorable president of National HRD Network, he brings in unique blend of wisdom, systems thinking, and bold adaptability to the table. And we'll see glimpses of it in the conversation today. Guiding this conversation is our very own V. Krishnan. Hello, Krishnan. Welcome to this conversation and thank you for navigating us through this next half an hour. He's the former CHRO at Dabur Havels, an ICF PCC coach, an OD architect, a board member of ICF Delhi NCR chapter, and he's a coach who asks the kind of questions that make you pause, reflect, and grow. So grab your coffee or chai and lean in and dive into a dialogue that promises to spark insight, shifts perspective, and help you take the first step towards knowing this topic better. So if you're excited about redefining leadership in today's world, drop an yes, because this is not a monologue, it's a dialogue between all of you and us. Let's explore what happens when leadership stops instructing and starts listening, when direction gives way to discovery and coaching becomes a style, a way of being, just not a skill. We'll take up all of your questions I know you would want to ask Mr. Prem. We'll take it at the end, and so keep them ready. So I'll be at the background listening to the audience. Over to you, Krishnan, and welcome, Mr. Prem.
Thank you, Debishi. Good morning, Mr. Prem Singh. It's always a pleasure to talk to you and learn from your wisdom and experience. So, I think your mic is on mute. You could probably use the button at the lower side to unmute yourself.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah. So, always warm welcome on a Saturday morning, and we've got a very live audience out here. So, Debishi has done the honors of introducing both of us. So, I'll jump straight into this subject since it's a short cast. So, Mr. Prem, the JK Group had won the ICF India Coaching Award in 2023. So, can you please share what catalyzed this journey and how did you go about it?
Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you very much, Mr. Krishnan, Debashi, for inviting me for this momentous occasion. My compliments to ICF Delhi chapter for completion of 10 years journey. It's a very significant accomplishment, and congratulations everyone, those who have been involved in this. Now, coming to the question that you asked, So I think it has been a long journey. Coaching at JK organization has been a very important focus area. And because we are a large group, very diversified group, and we always have kept in mind that we must be growing our internal leadership pipeline. And in fact, we have a very popular phrase, grow your own timber. That means grow your own leadership. And very important ingredient for growing your own leadership is coaching. Therefore, what we have been doing is training a battery of internal leaders who can act as coaches. Now, because we have a large size, multiple businesses, multiple organizations, several units, and therefore that gives us an opportunity to cross pollinate. For example, somebody in tire could be coaching somebody in JK Agri Genetics, or somebody working in JK Lakshmi Cement could be coaching somebody in JK Fanner, and vice versa. So that scale, that size provides us that opportunity. So what we have been doing is training a lot of our senior people in coaching skills, getting them certified, and allowing them the opportunity of coaching the young emerging leaders. We have been quite okay to let the people learn even when they are trying to coach the youngsters. And we have not been insisting that you have to be ideal one, because there is nothing called ideal, and it's a fact of life. While coaches are trying to support the youngsters, they are also learning in the process in the meantime. Now, uh, at the same time, what we have been also doing is trying to make sure that we are able to measure the impact. For example, look at some of the metrics. For example, the retention of top talent or control of attrition. So some of these metrics are something that we measure all the time. And our experience has been, wherever we have been able to do a better job in terms of coaching, using internal or external coaches, we have seen much better metrics in terms of attrition control and retention of the top talent. Most importantly, and this is important for the viewers to know, that it's critical that we celebrate the successful stories. So, for example, Krishna Arjuna, that is a program that we have. So, Krishna Arjuna is something that kind of celebrates the spirit of coaching in the organization, and that brings live the stories of those successes which have made a significant impact in the organization. So, I think that has been helping us. So, I'll take a little pause. Maybe we'll dive deeper as we go along. Back to you.
Yeah. Thanks, Mr. Prem. I think that was very insightful. I think you have a beautiful internal coaching culture in the organization. And what I really learned, which is very powerful, is that coaches also learn while they're coaching. So there is some level of internal or reverse mentoring also, which is happening from youngsters. And you very beautifully said that there are very key metrics that you track, like retention of top talent and attrition management. And this Krishna Arjuna spirit is wonderful. I think I think we should celebrate success stories, and for others to know that this works. So thanks really for capturing the overall spirit with which you're running it. So this leads to my next question. Like, when you started this journey, it is very important to get buy-in from senior management, senior leadership, and the C-suite, and get an alignment. Since you're a large conglomerate, multiple businesses, multiple leaders. So how did you go about getting this alignment with the senior leadership and the C-suite?
Okay, well, Mr. Krishnan, I must confess that it's not always easy. But two things happen. Number one, HR or anybody whoever is driving the coaching initiative, he or she must be willing to work hard and must be willing to go an extra mile to demonstrate.
think we have lost him for a bit, but I'm sure he's going to come back.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the audience is really, getting deep into this topic, and especially in the comments, I see grow your timber. I think the phrase that he has used, and in relation to the kind of work that gets done in different departments, and each of them kind of cross pollinating each other in terms of the leadership team building their muscle, building their acumen, growing their timber, and creating that inventory where they can build a strong ecosystem of coaching. And I see again, like, he's known for really encouraging the youth. So the young people who are joining the organization, he said, I think when coaching happens in a big scale, this is a learning lesson that everybody can have, everybody can take away, because the different formats of coaching that we have, not all the time you can always have the same format, that one is to one coaching, or you can only have it for the senior level. What's happening with the new people who are joining? So we have Mr. Prem back. And Mr. Prem,
Hi.
we were just talking about grow your timber part, and I think our audience is really loving it. So if you can please continue the conversation. Thank you.
Okay. I think we got disconnected somewhere in the meantime. So let me come back again and build on where I left earlier. So,
Yeah.
to
You
your
were talking
question,
about the buy-in with the senior management.
yes, yes. So, I must confess that it's not easy to get a buy in. So, there are two things that must happen. Number one, you must be willing to walk that extra mile to create that impact, to create that first impression that yes, it is helping. That's number one. Number two, it's no good that you just do it only once. One has to be at it all the times, because coaching, it's not a sprint race of 100 meters or 200 meters. It's a long marathon, and one has to be at it all the time. So one has to be at it all the time, not in terms of practicing and encouraging the practice of coaching. At the same time, one should also be able to work hard and collect those matrices and demonstrate to the leadership team. That is where the acceptance begins to happen. So it is not easy. It won't come easy. People won't buy it unless CHRO or the HR leadership team is willing to walk that extra mile to demonstrate the effect of coaching, and also do it in a consistent manner over a period of time. Once that happens, once people see the effect happening in a consistent manner, once people see the matrices over a period of time, they start trusting the power of coaching. That is where you start making a shift in terms of culture.
Very powerfully said, Mr. Prem Singh. I think the CHRO and the HR team has to have the ability to influence, walk that extra mile, and it's not easy. Getting buying in, especially in large conglomerate, is not very easy. But still, one needs to be at it, and you very rightly said it's a journey. It doesn't happen overnight, but one needs to have the conviction and the staying power for it. I mean, that leads me to another very often discussed question. Many of our large organizations are publicly listed. There is stakeholder, shareholder pressure. There is regulatory authorities. Your quarterly results to be declared. So, in this cycle of so most leaders tend to form a very directive or autocratic style of leadership. It is also because probably in schools also we were the teacher tells you what to do, the college the professor tells you what to do, our parents tell us what to do. So maybe some level of social conditioning also. So how do you overcome this challenge of this directive style of leadership when you're getting into this coaching journey?
Very important question, and that's a reality of life, Krishnan Saab. And I must admit, I think this directive style or telling style is something which comes as a natural style. In fact, if I may use the word, it's more or less like a default setting in most of the
Yeah.
leaders. So one has to be consciously working against it. So what I have learned is, if you form a small group of, let's say, 5 6 people, those who are in the business of coaching, and if you have some kind of understanding that, look, I need you to help me, I need you to hint or gently nudge me when you see me too much of in the telling mode or directive mode. Because then, if there is somebody who is kind of acting as your sarathi, somebody who is acting as a mirror, then to that extent you become more conscious. So at the end of the day, it's a behavioral change. And behavioral change doesn't happen just in a with one input. It has to happen when the inputs are provided to the individual on a consistent basis. That is where slowly the behavioral change starts happening, because it's a change of habits. It doesn't happen easily. So for example, let's say we two get into this kind of a understanding. So whenever you see me, you nudge me. Whenever I see you in the directive mode, I nudge you, until over a period of time we both see each other into much more of a listening mode, and that default setting then tends to also reflect in the coaching. So I think it's easier said than done, but there is no escape from the fact that one has to be conscious of it all the time. Secondly, there should be somebody who can be a confidant, who can be helping, who can be nudging all the time. Otherwise, if you don't do it, nothing will happen. So you have a choice. Wish it, push it under the carpet, and say that everything is okay. Number two, acknowledge, accept that it's a reality and do something about it. If you make the choice number two, chances are that you would start seeing difference. So I would always strongly recommend making choice number two.
That's a powerful insight, Mr. Singh. I think beautifully captured. You said that have some small support groups, have someone to nudge you. I really like this concept of Sarathi or an accountability partner who will tell you when you are going astray. And you also, I think, a very pertinent point you said was how much you tell and how much you listen. And I think there is also this concept of what is your tell to listen ratio. So I think very wonderful points, and it's not easy. You need to have an accountability partner. You need to have somebody who will tell you when you're going astray. Very practical tips. Really thankful for that. Um, Now there is, as we look at our organization demography, like India is a young country, we have a young demographic dividend. There was a time 15 years ago that most CXOs would be in their mid 50s. Now CXOs are coming in at mid 40s. The Gen Z has started entering through the workplace. They are smart, they are tech savvy, they are getting into senior roles quickly. So, in your view, how does the younger generation or Gen Z look at coaching compared to the more experienced or tenured generation of employees?
Okay. Uh, a couple of things. Number one, Gen Z has lot of positives: extremely ambitious, tech savvy, creative, almost uh, to say that they are born with technological skills. So something that comes very naturally to them. However, and I say this with lot of responsibility, and um, as we look at the future, these things will become even more important. You see, the just look at. Let me just take a step back and try and explain why this is important. You see, look at a typical profile of a school going kid or a college going student today, and look at how the upbringing is happening. In most cases, most of these students who are in the colleges or schools have grown in a nuclear family environment. Majority of them. In majority of the cases, they would have grown into a very safe, very protected kind of environment. And if I may use the word, and I use this word with a lot of responsibility, without sounding to be judgmental, uh, to some extent pampered, where they may not have necessarily faced lot of no's from their parents, right? I'm not being judgmental. There is nothing right or wrong about it. That's how the this generation is growing. Fast forward 5 years later or 8 years later, when these kids, and mind you, lot of these kids are single children to their parents, right? Fast forward 5 or 8 years later, when these school students or college students come and enter the workforce in the organizational setting, ask 2 3 questions. How resilient are these kids likely to be? How shock proof are these kids likely to be? What about the teamwork? What about sharing? What about working through the teams? What about the softer aspects? What about their ability to handle pressures, ability to handle frustrations, failures? So I think, to me, that particular piece is extremely, extremely important, Krishnan sir. Why that is important? Because that is not something which can be learned through the textbooks or articles, or that is not something which you can teach through short modular capsules or programs. This is a habit which has to be acquired. That is where I see a huge potential coaching can play. And I foresee, therefore, the coaches must look at this dimension as a huge area of impact where they can really make a difference. This is a real opportunity. And why I say so, if India has to become a developed country, demographic dividend has to come into full play. And demographic dividend will come into full play when we are able to address this particular likely gap which we are likely to see. Unfortunately, not many people are talking about it as of now, Krishnan Saab, because quite often we are getting swayed to some extent by this demographic dividend, which is a huge plus. But we are not looking at this other side, which is real, which is important. And if we don't get that right,
I think we have lost him for a bit, but he's going to come back. We have beautiful questions coming up. Uh, so, Rajneesh is asking about, curious to know how coaching success was highlighted or communicated within to build excitement and curiosity. From this conversation, I could clearly see that coaching has been a tool for, like the way Mr. Prem is looking at it, is for nation building, right? And in such a big organization which is contributing to our economy, leading the sector, I feel this is a very important question. Once Mr. Prem is back, I feel there's a patchy network. We would love
Yeah.
to know the
I,
answer
I,
from you.
I really loved the way he said that coaches need to play a major role. And we keep talking about demographic dividend, but coaches and seasoned coaches need to play a very major role in leveraging this democratic dividend, because the
True.
social upbringing of the Gen Z is very different, and probably while they bring in a lot of skills and strength, but the organizational ecosystem and making them ready, the approach and thinking of coaches need to be from a very different perspective.
Yeah. So
So
this is a new opportunity because things are changing and shifting, and coaches have that ability to help them develop new habits. He stressed that coaching is a marathon. Like while you're working, while you're partnering with somebody, there is the habit which needs to be formed. So, Krishnan, why don't you? I'm just taking some questions. I'll come back.
yeah. So I think some very important points that Mr. Prem Singh made was that society has become more nuclear. It was not like many of us who are tenured employees. We were tenured employees, and today kids grow up in nuclear families. Many times they are single children. Parents provide them the best of facilities and privileges. Uh, Many of them have not heard a no. Like when we grew, I mean, we were very clearly told that this is not doable or this is not affordable. But those times are not like that now. So therefore, it somewhere while they become very tech savvy, they're very aware. But it also, where there's always a doubt about their resilience and their shock proofness and
Yeah,
uh,
hi. There was some technical glitch. I'm back again.
Yeah. So, Mr. Prem Singh, I was just capturing for the sake of for the benefit of the audience. I mean, you
Right.
made some very powerful insights there that, today kids grow up in nuclear families. Many of time they're single kids. Uh, it's not like the joint family system that we had when resources were less, and we many times heard a no from our answer from our parents. They are more privileged. They get everything. While they're very tech savvy, very aware, very intelligent, very cerebrally sharp, but probably this kind of an upbringing doesn't prepare them in terms of resilience and shock proofness and working in a team situation or sharing or handling frustrations. And that's where you said that coaches have a very major role to leverage this demographic dividend which you keep talking about in this country. And coaches have a major role to play in helping them get over this social conditioning uh, of the society which has happened in the last 15-20 years. I think it's a very powerful insight you've given, and I really like the way how you related the whole thing to nation building.
Thank you.
So So, one more question that I'd like to ask you is, I mean, this could be our final question. Today there is a lot of AI, and AI is pervasive all across the ecosystem, whether it's manufacturing, sales, marketing, and it's almost become a buzzword. I mean, we experience it in our own work in many ways. You search something in Google and Amazon and FB start throwing up that product before without you looking for it. So, in this age of AI, what do you think will be the impact it will have on coaching, uh, in your perspective?
So, AI will certainly be able to support the coaching process, but I would say at a very macro level, and then I'll go slightly more into details. AI is a tool which will supplement, not replace the coach. So it's a tool which will certainly support, supplement. So this is something which you can augment, but I do not foresee a scenario where AI will replace the human coach. So where AI can help, for example, AI can assist you in terms of identifying and discovering the trends in the behavior of the coachee, the trends in terms of asking or triggering some questions which could be relevant for that particular situation, for that particular coachee. It could also be very helpful in initially conducting a lot of surveys, for example, 360-degree feedback. That's where AI can help. So it can free you of lot of administrative support activities. But in terms of the core, the human touch, I do not foresee in the near future AI can really replace the human element of the coaching process. It could also help you in terms of scheduling the coaching meetings. It could also help you in terms of being available to the coachee in terms of 24/7 coach assistant. So to the extent that there are a lot of support activities which coach does, AI can certainly chip in to supplement and augment those processes. And I think it's a beginning. People are beginning to use it. As we go along, the AI itself will learn because it's ultimately based upon the machine learning uh, algorithm. The tool itself will become better, more efficient, more intelligent, and that is where the area of influence, area of support where AI can help will expand. So that's my take on use of AI in coaching.
Wow, that's wonderful. And AI being that accountability partner. So it's not a conversation between AI versus I. It's how to leverage. We are thinking partners, right? How we can partner with this new technology and rise with the wave. So, Mr. Prem, we have beautiful conversation going on in the chat, and I just highlight a couple of them. So we have a question from Rajneesh Mathur, our very own chapter member and ex director of education. So Rajneesh is asking, he's curious to know how coaching success was highlighted or communicated to build excitement and curiosity
Sure.
in your organization. And I know your organization has won the ICF India awards. So if you can share about it.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mathur, for putting that question up. So we have several forums where HR makes presentations along with the business managers, and and it happens in all the businesses. And whenever those leadership presentations happen, typically I also join them for the leadership review meetings. So and whenever those happens, we make sure that the relevant HR head or the business HR head of that particular business does talk about the coaching culture, coaching initiatives, coaching programs, and how those are happening. Quite often, we would see that some of the businesses who have done a lot of work on coaching, they would tend to see the effect of the coaching in terms of the metrics. For example, the retention rates, the attrition control, etc. So then that becomes our talking point. That look, these two businesses have been doing a great job in terms of coaching, and look at these matrices. So once you start pointing out those matrices, once you start talking about that, that is where people then start seeing the difference, because seeing is believing. And until you point it out, business managers typically would tend to not acknowledge, because they are busy in a lot of other activities anyway. So to that extent, I would say that there is little bit of a marketing also that's needed. But I would say, I would use one word: it has to be authentic marketing.
Wow.
It can't be simply
Beautiful.
marketing. And when I say
That's
authentic
wonderful.
marketing, it means marketing based upon matrices.
Yeah, that's a smart approach. The data driven leaders building smart India, everybody should be taking notes right now. So, being a part of the Global Awards Committee, we often look into the organization where coaching is a fixed line item in your budget. And you can only do that if this is followed in your organization. We have another question for Bharti from Bharti Pathak Saxena. She's also a part of our chapter and a board member. So Bharti is asking about what makes coaching as a leadership style challenging to adopt, because not every organization is being able to do it as we speak, given the organizational dynamics and in systemic context. And it would be interesting to know, you being a part of, you've seen that landscape of Indian, the business developing. Tell us little about, what you've seen in the industry, little about the startups coming in, little about the MNCs, little about the India business own the Indian businesses. So would like to know from this diverse perspective as well. Beautiful question.
Sure,
Thank
sure. So, what Miss Bharti Pathak Saxena has put in the chat box, I think it's a reality of life. And because this is not something that comes naturally to most business managers, as Mr. Krishna pointed out, that there are pressures to deliver month on month, quarter on quarter. And therefore, as a default setting, telling or directive style is what comes naturally. So if this has to change, uh, considerable amount of effort has to go behind this. And that's where I said trying to nudge people gently, trying to showcase the matrices, trying to educate and sensitize business managers about wherever the coaching style, wherever the coaching as a culture has started making a inroad or making a headway, the business matrices also have shown improvement. And once business managers start seeing that, that's where they start accepting it. So a lot of hard work, lot of groundwork, lot of legwork has to be done by HR team, and particularly it has to be championed by CHRO along with the CEO. Uh, so that's number one. Number two, uh, even within the existing scenarios, for example, you may have, let's say, several dozen leaders. There would be some bright sparks. There would be some people, maybe one or two or three, who would tend to showcase the coaching style as a leadership style in a much more natural manner. So it would come much more naturally as a style. If you nudge them slightly, they will adopt it faster and they will embrace it faster. And they are the people who will also be able to showcase results faster than others. I think it's very important for HR managers or HR teams to be slightly more, discerning, and have a very customized approach and pick up those individuals and use them. And once they become the champions of the change, then it becomes easy to rally the others also around coaching culture. So the initial focus therefore has to be on those few who are likely to demonstrate change with little input. I think that's where you have to play a very pragmatic role, and it has to be done in a very gentle manner, in a very tactful manner. And once you are able to showcase, others will follow.
you. Thank you so much. And I also sense there's an art of doing it, that gentle nudge, connecting it to the matrices of business success, to celebrating the champions of change who are going to catalyze the overall growth. We have a lot of questions coming in. Is it okay to extend this session a little bit, Mr. Prem?
Maybe just a couple of minutes because I have a
Maybe.
hard
Okay.
stop at
Thank you so much.
11:15.
So the
Uh,
last question that we are going to take would be from a LinkedIn user, and he is asking, how does JK organization identify who would be provided coaching support opportunity? What matrices and inputs are leveraged? So part of it you've already,
yeah,
kind of answered, but who can access coaching? I think he's asking that.
Yeah.
very, very good question. So, firstly, I think it's important that the leadership team realizes that coaching is not a tool to fix the performance problems. Coaching is a support tool, it's an enabling tool, and it helps the individuals to realize their full potential. And it is actually a tool which takes your high performers to the next higher level. So therefore, the popular notion which exists in a lot of organizations to say that it's a problem fixing tool, I think that needs to
Mhm.
be addressed first. So it's not. In some cases, coaching could be utilized to address some of the areas of gaps which any leader could have. But essentially, the way it has to be positioned and it must be communicated is, just because you are being chosen for being coached, it doesn't mean that there is something wrong with you. It is rather other way around, because organization sees a lot of potential in you, and therefore organization has decided to invest in you to make sure that you really realize your full potential. It is something like, you have a potential, you have a lot of strengths, we want you to go to the next higher level and realize your full true potential. So that's number one. Number two, this is not easy all the time, because quite often, and it happens in several cases, uh, one has to be careful with respect to what is the expectation from the coaching. And quite often, organization makes the mistake of imposing one or two areas, that these are the areas where this individual must improve, or these are the areas where this individual must cover up or must address these gaps. I think that process should ideally be a consultative process between the coachee, and coachee must be in the driving seat. Coachee, the reporting manager, the HR champion who is championing the coaching practice, and the coach. Uh, and deep inside, as a very intimate process of dialogue, it has to be ultimately uh, crafted out between coach and coachee. So they are the first layer, if I can use that word. They are at the nucleus. The others come at the next orbit. So these two individuals have to be always on the same page. So rather than the areas of coaching being imposed, the coach uh, must allow the coachee to identify the areas. The coach can help asking the questions uh, to discover the areas of focus, but eventually it has to be coachee centric rather than organization centric. So these are my learnings so far, and it's a delicate process, so one has to have that sense of balance. There is nothing right or wrong. It's not something like you have the formula of physics, for example, force is equal to mass into acceleration. Unfortunately, coaching process is much more intimate. It's a lot of chemistry between human beings, a lot of dynamics, lot of human psychology, lot of vulnerabilities and anxieties and aspirations. I think one has to really appreciate those finer nuances. And coach has a huge responsibility to navigate this process in a nice, effective, and gentle manner, so the coachee gains lot of benefit out of it, and thereby the organization gains.
Wow. We often talk about the word, use the word space in coaching, but today you beautifully defined it, how it looks like in terms of organization development, using it as a recipe for success. I know we can go on and on, but Krishnan, I would
Yeah, I
invite
think I
both of
think
you
the
to
thing,
have
yeah,
another episode, but for today, if we can
yeah.
quickly
I think,
close.
yeah, I think Mr. Singh is in a bit of a rush. Totally understandable given his role. We also lost some time on tech issues. But as Brain Singh, really, thank you so much. I think what you said in the end, in terms of holding space, vulnerability, and in coaching, ICF teaches us repeatedly, it's always about the client. And there's a lot of study certified coaches go through in terms of competencies and code of ethics and values. What you articulated is actually how that whole thing comes into life in an organizational real world context. Thank you so much. Without taking much of your time, really appreciate you taking of your time in such a busy schedule. I mean, it was, as always, discussions with you are always an eye opener, new learning, new perspectives, given your vast experience across the industry. Thank you so much from our side and on behalf of the ICF Delhi NCR chapter. Any final words you would like to say, please do share, and then we'll close the session.
So, thank you so much for organizing this. I think the relevance of coaching will only continue to grow. And as I mentioned earlier, this huge chunk of a very large proportion of Gen Alpha, Gen Beta following thereafter, once this large proportion of that generation comes into the organizational setting, comes into the workforce, the scope for coaching is only going to grow. And that's an important element which must be addressed. If the organizations have to really leverage the demographic to its fullest potential, otherwise it might be a little evasive. And if we have to really work and realize our mission of developed India, I think that's important. So I would, in the closing, say that coaching is a tool which is there, and the organizations, it's up to the organizations and the individuals to leverage it. Thank you once again. It was a pleasure speaking with all of you, and I enjoyed discussions with all of you, and also the questions that came up from the audience. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you
Singh.
so
Wonderful
much.
talking to you. Thanks, Devishi.
Yeah. Thank you so much, and all of you. This is the beginning of our celebration of 10th anniversary of ICF Delhi NCR Charter Chapter, and Mr. Prem Singh and this master class is the first of the series that we are going to present over the year. Join us on 14th of June at IHC. The details will be shared over there. And please, after this conversation, take one step, take the first step towards adopting or experiencing coaching as a leadership style. We are happy to help. And thank you, Mr. Prem Singh, and thank you, Krishnan, and the wonderful audience to creating this space in which we can see our nation rise. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.